Thank you for downloading today's episode of the Racers and Rental Cars podcast, brought to you in part by MotionRaceworks.com. Stop by Motion Raceworks for all your high-performance needs. If you need to go fast, visit MotionRaceworks.com today.
It's the Racers and Rental Cars podcast with your host, Top Fuel Cam, Cameron Bure, and his co-host, Mr. Top Sportsman, Don O'Neill. Keep on till they can't ignore you. Put it up for the Wigan Warriors.
Didn't take.
Whoa.
What are you
playing on my end?
Well, of course it is. Turn your stuff
share
off.
I was trying to share it for you, bro.
Yeah. Well, how about we bring you in, bro?
Can't help you there.
What is going on,
Hello.
dude? How cool is this?
What's up? You getting to play with new electronic toys and technology is kind of scary, to be honest.
Brother?
Not gonna lie.
I don't know. I don't know what the rest of the world's gonna think about this, but nonetheless, we're gonna give this a go. I guess you could say that we may be a little late to the party when it comes to what everybody seems to be doing in the podcast social media world. However, if you're gonna be late, be fashionably late and do it with a bang. So here we are.
I'm just over here trying to figure out how to still share this sucker.
Well, it's going live from Racers and Rental Cars, so I'm getting ready to share it from that page as well, which is actually on my page. And hopefully all of our lovely friends that are out there, or haters, if they're going to hate on us too, about how bad we're going to do on this shindig.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I get hated on a lot, so it's all good.
Dude, I mean, I don't think, if I wasn't hated on, I'm not sure I'd have anybody who would actually interact with me. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm just kind of going with it here, from that standpoint. But no, it looks like we're live. We got a little bit of a slow delay going on by what it looks like on my Facebook. I don't know what everybody else's is looking like. There we are. I got you. Everybody's up in here. We got comments galore coming in, so at least that's working.
Oh boy.
Yep. So all 5 people.
Welcome everyone.
Well, welcome you and you and you and you. It's kind of like
Steve. Welcome, Steve in the back.
Yeah,
Steve in the back.
Hey, it's like 8 a.m. at Indy for the U.S. Nationals, first round of stock qualifying, and there is 4 people in the grandstands at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah.
So
how's everybody doing in their quarantine world?
Dude, I don't know what it's like, and it's probably bad of me, like ignorant of me, to not be paying attention what's going on east of the or west of the Mississippi, to see what racetracks are doing what in what states and how city and state governments are mandating certain areas. I know that I read today that Ozark Raceway Park actually went to bat and tried to commission the city and the county to be able to actually open to be able to test. They were going to...
They should have just hit up Marty Bird.
Hit up who?
Marty Bird.
Who's
It's
Marty
in the
Bird?
Ozarks. Oh, come on. You mean to tell me that you have been home for how many weeks and you don't know who Marty Bird is? Do you watch Netflix? I found the end of Netflix.
Okay.
But
I got to interject.
you've never...
Hold on. First off, okay, most people, it's our first time doing this on Facebook. Most people
I know, so
might
now
not,
they get to see how many eye rolls that you're going to get in one episode.
and they're going to see how many times that never makes it in the audio track that I'm going to be going over here just giving you the visual, right? The little nudge, all right? Okay, right now, I'm currently staying in my owner's motorhome in my driveway, okay? So, first off, they've got an awesome TV screen. Second off, it's got a satellite dish. Third off, there is no freaking Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, none of that. Okay, it's in a motorhome. All right, so I'm grateful.
Sorry about your luck.
So don't be sorry. I'm happy. I got a place to stay. Okay, I'm cool with that. But don't be busting my chops about Netflix.
I find it hard to believe that JB's badass motorhome does not have any sort of Netflix or Hulu in it.
It doesn't. Now, if I want to get like a little itty bitty iPad and curl up and have a pug's butt in my face while I try to watch it on an iPad, then I probably could pull it off. However, that would be neglecting my wife. And that's just not fair to her to be watching Netflix or Hulu without her. Okay?
All right, we're already losing the rails off this, so it's time to start drinking.
Dude,
it's 5:07, so I'm allowed to now.
It is the same thing all the time, okay? So don't bust my chops about Marty Burt. And so since we're going to go with the Netflix thing, who's the Tiger King guy?
Oh, we're just going to end this now. Like, the whole thing. First, you don't know who Marty Burt is. Now you don't know who the Tiger King is. You should ask Chase Freeman about it. Apparently, he's sponsored by him.
Which, I'm sorry. I mean, some of that stuff for the elite guys is pretty awesome.
Dude, that was rad. I don't know. Did you see Courtney's live stream where they actually went to the zoo?
Yes, I did. I caught parts of that. Yes. No. Yes. Okay. First off, I'm not watching Marty Burt. Second off, I don't give two rips about Tiger King or Tiger Queen or whoever's this wife that allegedly got killed or what. Any of these memes that I'm seeing. I mean, I'm from North Carolina. At one time we were pretty low in the education department. I feel like if you're watching this stuff, it's just like continuing to kill brain cells. I'm going out there.
We got a lot of cool cats and kittens on the live feed right now. So, yeah, you should just watch it just so you're just modern society isn't gonna blow right by you,
dude.
That's what I think.
Okay, all right, here. So you're watching the Tiger King or the Kardashians?
Tiger Queen, never heard of her. Cause that damn bitch.
Well, there goes the FCC, first fine of the night. All right, hey, let's just jump right on in. We just let everybody know in the social media world right before we went on air that we were going to have Tyler Crossnoe in, and I'm just going to I'm trying to do right by Tyler, right? Because the kid has got a great story. He's picked up, moved, left family, and bounced around all over the country. Probably has more frequent flyer miles at pilot truck stops than most other people of his age. But I wanted to give him some props because I found something today on YouTube and I thought it was really cool. And I got him to send it to me, and I think everybody needs to see it. So we're going to jump right off into this real quick, and then we're going to bring Tyler in.
Let's hear it.
Getaway Factory.
Look at you go.
Uh-oh. Hold on. Check out. Here he comes. There he is. What we got, Tyler? How you doing, my friend?
Hanging in there, guys. What about y'all?
Oh, well, we're trying to get along here. Everything's kind of working out, but we are making it slowly but surely, if you know what I mean.
That's all that matters. As long as you're making forward progress.
We're trying. How's life treating you up there in the big old city?
Oh man, it's coming around. I'm starting to get used to the East Coast life. The hardest part for me was the time change. I was always a central time guy. Now I'm the Eastern time guy. So I mean, it's a different change for me as far as the hours of the day and the way businesses are open on the East Coast are open when I'm up, and then stuff what's on the West Coast when Cameron's waking up. I'm making a phone call to somebody in California, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm still in the bed. Shut up."
It's all right. Don does it to me on the daily, so
Look,
good.
I don't understand why the country cannot have one time zone. I just don't understand. I figure this. It's the military way. If I'm awake, you should be awake too. Let's get after it.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to argue the statement, but I can tell you it gets me in trouble more times than it does positives.
Well, you can never be too careful when you're calling people. Sometimes if I try to wake Cam up, I get the hello. It sounds like he's crawling out of a bender for the night. So you just never.
How'd you guess? Tiger King is pretty wild. All right, take it easy.
What I
Can't even
heard.
go to a bar right now.
Look.
Yeah.
So I bring the bar into the garage.
Well, let's see. It's a big night for us. And Tyler, you sent a picture earlier and was kind of wondering to know if it was okay to drink. And Cam's already cracked his open. I know you don't
Clearly.
have. I know you don't have Kool-Aid over there in the cup. So I don't want to feel. I don't want to feel left out on our celebration night here on Racers and Rental Cars. So this is actually a first. I believe it's been a long time since. Oh, that sounded really good right there, didn't it? That was. And I'm actually drinking Kool-Aid. This is just an NGK, right there, just the logo. And I got a Kool-Aid. And now my wife's making faces. So neither of you have a peanut gallery. I actually have a peanut gallery while we're recording this.
Well, usually, as everybody knows that listens to the show, when they download it, my peanut gallery, it's 5 o'clock right now, so Jet Boy, he is currently eating dinner, and I'm sure you'll hear a knock on the door here in a few minutes when he says, done.
Oh, man. Well, hey, Tyler, once again, thanks for coming on, being one of our first guests on us doing it our podcast this way. We're hoping that this is going to kind of take off. But what we're going to do real quick, we're going to open up the Facebook comments, and we're going to take 15 minutes, and we are going to field comments from our watchers out in social media land. If anybody out there has any questions or comments for Tyler, fire them off down there in the box, and we will get them rolling. But I'm going to actually start off with one. How much gray hair have you gained in the last 6 weeks, and how much less hair, or how much hair has Tommy lost?
I'm going to say Tommy's done better than I have. That's been the good side of the whole thing. Franklin Electric's been able to stay open, and Smart Come Home Technology. So both of those companies are still rolling. And so they're solid up there as far as the everyday workings of the Franklin household. As the Virginia Motorsports Park and PDRA, I have racked up some gray hair. I'm scared to go get my hair cut because I'm afraid it's all going to be gray underneath this mop that I've got right now. But it's going to be a tough ride for us. I mean, we announced today that at Virginia Motorsports Park, we've canceled all of our April events.
Ugh.
So we're going to take it 1 month at a time. Our governor put out a deal from a stay-at-home warning from now until June the 10th. But we're hoping that the June date becomes a kind of just a suggestion that we messed up on. So we're going to take it 1 month at a time, just kind of see how things go. But it's definitely a very hard and trying time for us right now in the racetrack world.
That sucks. Well, I guess we kind of skipped over this part. I mean, obviously, Don and I know how famous you are, but if you want to do your 30-second elevator pitch that Don likes to call it. So, what is your name and what do you do here?
Tyler Crossnoe, Vice President of Virginia Motorsports Park and Series Director of the PDRA Racing Series.
Nice.
Well, wait a minute. Your title used to be a lot longer than that. I mean, I remember one time talking to you, I asked you how things are going. This was a few years back, and you're like, well, it depends on what day of the week it is, whether I'm prepping a racetrack, promoting a race, selling track equipment, consulting. I mean, so you just you're down to 2 now? Just 2?
Down to 2. Yeah, I gave up on the traveling gig I moved to Virginia December of 2018, so took over that position last year, and then this is my second year in Virginia. But
Nice. I gave up on the traveling gig too, at least until June 5th.
yeah, exactly. But for the last 5 years before then, I traveled the globe actually. Did traction consulting, worked for the PDRA the last year of that, and then that elevated into the role that I'm in now for PDRA. But before then, yes, I worked with Kurt Johnson at Total Venue Concepts, helped with his equipment sales, then did my own traction consulting with Dream Team Motorsports Consulting. We would go to racetracks all across the world. I've been to Australia twice, Brazil.
Is it not rad down there?
Oh, dude, I'd go back tomorrow.
Oh, I know.
I would go back tomorrow.
I keep telling my buddy Phil to field that second car so I can go and play with those boys again if they ever get to race again. It's so awesome down there. Hello to my Australian family if they are listening. They should be awake right now. Actually,
They typically are.
Yeah.
That trip right there, I got to make it once. Then I went back with a friend of mine. Daniel Ferris went and drove a car for a guy the second time we went. But man, that trip I'll never forget going over there. And then I went to Brazil for Sydney Frigo 3 years ago, and went down and helped line out their traction stuff, their timing system, all that for their racetrack that oddly enough has to go through the government to get opened. It's been an 8-year process, and they're just now getting the paperwork to get almost done. So hopefully within the next 12 months, Sydney will be able to open his own racetrack in Brazil. And then the last overseas trip was Malta, which is a small island in the Mediterranean right outside of Italy. And that was a pretty crazy trip. New bunch took over a racetrack there, and they didn't really know what they had. Got there, and the concrete was like 35 or 40 years old. Concrete fell apart, and basically I told them I'm going to get back on the plane. I'll send you a how-to notebook, and when you get new concrete, call me. I'll make sure it gets in the mail. And they put down new concrete, I think, the next week. 4 weeks later, they had a top fuel FIA deal over in Europe. They all went down there, and they set the top fuel record at Malta's racetrack like 4 weeks later. So it was pretty crazy, like the whole timetable of that. The funniest part of that story, being in Malta, was I was just like, all right, cool, I'm on a different planet. It seems like a different planet, at least. Everywhere you look, there was water. I was far out of my element. And then I was sitting there, and I'm just like, man, this is crazy. I just had to tell a guy that flew me halfway across the world that your racetrack's a POS, and you got to tick it up and start over. And I'm like fearful for my life. I'm like, I don't know anybody. I'm over here by myself. I'm a little skinny white kid from Tennessee. This is not cool. And so I picked my phone up. And that was when I actually text Tommy and said, hey, man, I'm ready to come off the road. I'm ready to move to Virginia and do this deal. And that was when the whole deal started. I was actually overseas, and jumped on a plane, came home, went straight to South Georgia to Donna Long's No Mercy race and helped Daniel. I think we got runner-up or semis in his Lexus at LDR. But that next week I left SGMP, drove straight to Richmond, dropped my rental car off, and went straight to Tommy's house. And we figured everything out, and that was when the deal was done.
Now we're here.
Well,
sitting in a house with all kind of stuff going on.
Tyler, I mean, you kind of brushed over everything there, but I mean, I made a list earlier of everything that I could remember you doing. And this is the list that I came up with. You used to race. You actually have a race car. I don't know if you consider yourself a racer anymore. About that much. You definitely track prep. You did your own promotions for your own event.
Yep.
You just dropped you're a pretty good crew guy on some pretty fast stuff. You're now a race director, and now you're a racetrack manager. Did I leave anything out in there? I mean, have you ever? Are you an EMT? Have you ever worked the ambulance at the racetrack?
No. The two things I've never done at the racetrack were the EMT and flipping hamburgers. I could flip hamburgers better than I could give CPR. So we're going to get that out there right now. We've always got this running joke of whenever I'm working at the racetrack, everybody's like, so who do we go to if there's a medical emergency or something like that? Like, if you can't handle it, bring me the paperwork. Don't bring me the situation. I don't want to see the drive shaft through the arm, and I'm good. But The whole thing's like the running joke of whenever they call on the radio during a crash or fire or anything that happens, Tyler, you need to get down here. Whenever I hear that, I'm like, yeah, this is not good.
We got a situation.
Pass.
Yeah,
Pass.
Then it's usually a situation with me if they don't have it all handled by the time I get there.
Well,
Nice.
so we just had someone chime in and ask, what other than drag racing, what else does VMP have going for the motorsports community?
Cold beer. Oh,
Yeah, we do have cold beer. The craziest part is everybody sees VMP as a drag strip. Of course, when Tommy took over and laid the new concrete down, and then the national event came back in 2018, that kind of really put VMP back on the map. Really kind of opened my eyes to moving here. We had talked about it long before I pulled the trigger, but there were a number of times that I was just kind of like, oh, it's just a drag strip. You know, I'd never been to Virginia or anything like that. Well, the first time I came, Tommy goes, hey, get in the truck. So we drove around. Well, turns out it's an open parking lot that we use for autocross and drifting. In the back corner, as we call it, there is a full-on truck and tractor pull arena. There, we do mud bogs there, tractor pulls, monster truck shows, anything along those lines we do amongst that.
isn't it crazy how big tractor pulling is?
Oh my god!
By the way,
mud bogs
you
and
guys are
tractor
gnarly.
pulls in this area are insane. And which we've got 2 mud bogs this year back there. We actually were back there today. We're doing a new expansion on that part of the facility, and it's just like it blows my mind how when you start diving off into other parts of motorsports, how in depth it really is. And then on top of all that, we have a full motocross track that is on property as well. We use it once or twice a year right now. Like to really build that up. That's a spot where I don't know anything about it. And I'm just like, man, that's something I can learn and get better at. And then to top it all off, we have a BMX track as well. So
Nice.
at any time, usually we can be moving at least 5 days a week when we're in solid working condition. And we've done numerous events where, like last season, we had the XDA motorcycle series with Jason Miller's bike series. We had 625 entries on the drag strip and had 200 entries at the motocross track, all going at one time on a weekend. So we have a very strong team here. I have to say it, that the camera's not big enough. I should have my whole team behind me. They really make it look good, and
It's definitely a rad facility. It's cool.
But just knowing that, oh, hey, look, if you can't be open on the drag strip, hey, you can go ride a pedal bike in the back, or you can jump on a motocross bike and go jump over the
I'll have
whoop.
to bring my BMX bike next
Yes, sir.
event. Hell yeah. After eating major shit at the jumps the other day with my kid, you know, maybe my bruises and road rash will be gone by then.
Yeah, you'll be gone by then. Yeah, sadly, we don't get to do that this year.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Cam,
Yes, Don.
do you ever think about how crammed your trailer is when you go race?
Dude, all the time. Race cars, golf carts, jets, power wheels, and all of his toys, his little dirt bikes, his strider bikes, all that stuff. I'm crammed. But I'm sure everybody in motorsports is feeling the same way.
Well, now our audience has someone to call. They need to call Lance at lbtrailers.com. Lance is carrying over 70 motorsports haulers in stock, options from top to bottom. We always talk about looking the part in motorsports, traveling up and down the road and at the track. Now you can look the part with LB Trailer Sales. Go online to lbtrailers.com or stop by Facebook at LB Trailer Sales. You have a friend in the trailer business, and make sure to tell them that Racers and Rental Cars sent you.
Do you want to win a Racers and Rental Cars t-shirt absolutely free? Well, we're giving one away this week. All you got to do is visit LB Trailer Sales Facebook page, like it, and leave a Racers and Rental Cars comment. That's all you got to do. Cam and Don are going to pick one very lucky winner and send out a free t-shirt. So go to LB Trailer Sales Facebook page, like it, and leave a Racers and Rental Cars comment.
Well, Tyler, so let's talk about that. How has it been for you as the track manager, and of course, obviously, Tommy and Judy and the family? How many employees did you have to start the year out with?
We started the year with, I want to say 10 to 12 full-time people. And then, of course, our weekend crew will rack up. I mean, I think if you count everybody that we have like through our payroll system, I think we have 145 or 150, if I remember right. Now, some of those will work 1 weekend a year, 2 weekends a year. But through our payroll system, I think we're around that number. Solid employees that work every weekend, we're around 20 to 25. And that's on top of the 12 full-time that we started the year with. Now we're down to about 6 full-time people right now. And one of those is kind of back and forth through this whole pandemic. So it's insane as far as how many people it takes to make a program like this run. And as we get bigger with the motocross side, the truck tractor pool side, all that, I think that will also endure another employee just to handle that part. I mean, just the stuff that I've learned already is, the dirt is just as important as the concrete and the asphalt that we have on the drag strip.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
make friends with your water truck guy.
Yes, exactly. We actually have one. That's funny. We were actually looking at it today. It's an old water truck that hasn't run in years. And I'm like, perfect. It's got a Cummins in it. We can fix that.
There you go.
Tyler, just got a question as a track prep guy in reference.
Swap hat thing on.
Yeah, put that hat on. From the NHRA side of the track, what racetrack would you like to prep for the NHRA to truly let some records fall? And how much ET do you feel like is really being given up by wait a minute, hold on. Are we still at 60-40? Is that where we're at? Or are we at 70-30?
I think what are we at, 60-40 now?
That's what I
think
thought.
So.
I thought
if I remember right, I think that it's either 65-35 or 60-40. I can't remember.
Yeah, so what would be the track you would like to go in and say, guys, you guys are screwing this up. Let me show you how to light the scoreboard up.
I would love to get my hands on VMP in mid to late April. Sun's down, lights are on. This place is 100 foot above sea level at most times. So, I mean, DA numbers would be on point. I would love to turn loose on it. I did some testing on Monday after our national last year, which was crazy because that was my first ever national event. I'd never been around it on the operations side or anything like that. So I really took some notes as far as the track prep goes because I knew we had some that were staying over. First thing I did, I'm like, oh, great. These guys just went down the racetrack. It's 140-degree track temp, and they're rolling down the racetrack. We were rolling there on Monday. We had prime conditions. It was only like 120 on the racetrack compared to 140 the day before. And I'm like, yep, don't screw this one up. This could be good. You've got this whole big resume of people always saying, well, that's the track prep guy, and then you can't send 3 nitro cars down the racetrack. But it ended up had a great test. Jack Beckman, Bob Tasca, and Leah stayed in the top fuel car, and all 3 blasted right down the racetrack and made their best runs of the weekend on Monday. Really just kind of made me feel like, okay, you're not an idiot. You can make top fuel cars and funny cars go down, that was my first experience with it.
But can you make a super comp car go down the track after the jet cars at 10:30?
Oh yeah, that's no problem. And run a flat drag over that thing, send it. We're good. But I agree. I mean, I would love to get Virginia mid to late April lights down. You're probably looking at 500 feet DA. Go out and really tighten that thing up in the middle of the racetrack. But I'll be honest, on the top end for the fuel cars, I mean, I feel like you're going to chunk tires. Not that we did in Monday testing, but I could tell if you really turn loose on them, you can chunk tires and tear up tires pretty bad, which at the same time, you're going to end up costing the team more money. So I understand the parts of it, but I will say I think the first 660 could probably get pretty gangster and let those boys turn loose. And I think it could be fast. I'm not going to lie. I think there's some ET giving up. I'd love to get my hands on one.
Well,
Awesome.
Wait, hold on. Don't see. You started talking about fuel cars, and Cam's freaking smile got about as big and goofy as that freaking hat he's wearing. Let's talk about door cars. I don't understand why everybody just.
This is a motorsports show.
That's all motorsports. Come on.
Yeah, all motorsports.
Catering to my help here. I'm catering to my man over here.
I know.
Yeah, exactly. You're killing me here. What? Let's talk about the Orlando, because I know you got a relationship with Wade Rich and those guys. Yep. You guys got a history. Were you surprised at the numbers
Not a bit.
We're lit up.
Not a bit.
How much of that we want to go with a little bit of track prep?
I will say Wade and them did a killer job at that event. The air was insane good. And I'm not going to say that was the reason for it, but I think that goes to show that with a better racetrack, you can see big numbers out of pro mod cars that are in trim, big numbers out of pro stock cars, which everybody thought were maxed out. I'm not going to say the air didn't play a huge factor into the NA cars. I mean, everybody knows the naturally aspirated car, get it in some good air, it's going to run. But at the same time, the racetrack was freaking gangster. You could tell it on the live feed. You could see it from the teams that we all talk to. We see it in testing a lot of times. We have a number of pro mod teams that come test with us, and they'll always come up and say, make the racetrack as good as you can get it. And I'm like, you're not going to race on that. I'm kind of like, okay, that makes sense, but it doesn't, but okay, whatever. And, they leave our place and go right down Broadway at an NHRA racetrack. And the longer I stayed around it, and then once I saw the national happen at our facility, I started to understand that the racetrack's way better on the starting line and for the first 300 foot than you really think it is because of the traffic that those races have. The nitro cars put down so much rubber and make the rubber base so good that for pro mod cars, you have to cheat it in testing because you don't have that traffic. You have to go out there and basically cheat it with glue, roll it back off with a rotator, and then it kind of simulates the same surface that they get. But the race at Orlando was great. Hats off to Wes, Richard Freeman, all that whole bunch that put that event on. I know when that deal started, Wes and I are pretty good friends, and he called and said they were going to throw it together. And the first thing I told him was, yeah, buddy, that's good and all, but you don't have a lot of time. That's a huge undertaking in the time period that you're wanting to do it. And all the partners that jumped onto that event, I applaud them because that was a great event for pro stock and pro mod to be at the forefront. And Orlando Speed World crew did a great job of getting the event in and even doing it under some tough conditions for the state of Florida.
Did you see this question here? This is a good one. Brad Littlefield just asked track prep question. What do you think of the surfaces at Topeka and Brainerd always being better than they should be at X temperature, being attributed to brushed finishes on the track? Is there anything to that?
Yeah. A lot of people try to get these racetracks like smooth as glass and, the texture smooth and blah, blah, blah. And I'll be honest, a smooth racetrack's great as long as it doesn't have any bumps. That's my definition of smooth. Some people think smooth is the texture. They want it like a bowling alley. The brushed finish on a racetrack that Brad's speaking of, it actually holds onto the rubber better. You can go out and spray it, drag through it, and the rubber gets very, very tight and adheres to the concrete better, basically forming teeth underneath the rubber. And the brush finish is very, very good with that to retain the rubber and the glue that's there, holds it down on the racetrack better, and which you'll see better racing surfaces for the temperature because the concrete itself has more grab than a smooth surface does. We actually just finished this process at Virginia. Couldn't do a broom finish, but we actually went back in with grinders and roughed up our concrete, so to speak, to create more teeth on it for that same exact issue that Brad was talking about.
Very cool. Mario has a question here that says, big question. We all love fuel cars, radio versus the world, no prep. And as a racer and I guess this is for all of us, as a racer and opinion, what about import racers? They're mostly the next generation. It's getting bigger than we all realize. I guess I'll start with that. Yeah, at the end of the day, all racing is cool. Maybe I love nitro cars as being my favorite, but everybody knows that I teach college, so all my students, they're super into imports. Like the 240 world is just going gangbusters, and I always give them a bunch of grief and stuff, but at the end of the day, like, they're into cars, and regardless of whether it's an import, a dragster, a door car, like whatever, we just need people in the sport, and it's actually growing quite large, and I'm a fan of it all. So Don, Tyler.
I'm sorry, I'm a marketing person, and that wherever the customer base is going to go and where they're going to come from to get them to a racetrack, to get them to a drag strip, you got to be all in. I mean, whether it's motorcycles or imports or all Ford shows, Mopar shows, whatever the case is, you've got to do it, because if not, just the pure segment of motorsports in the world of drag racing will slowly start to die off. So,
well, look what's happening right now. Like nobody can race, so everybody's freaking out. So I mean, it just goes to show you. I mean, obviously we all kind of run in the same circle, that whoever's watching or listening to the show. But at the end of the day, like, we all just want to race. So support, whether you have an import car, a Mustang, a dragster, whatever. Go to your racetrack and on a Thursday night and go break that car. Do something.
Exactly. Then when you break it, you keep the companies involved.
Absolutely.
That are spending sponsorships to keep the racetracks open. So
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a big revolving circle, and we all have to keep that in mind whenever we're moving forward. In which we're blessed that we're an hour and a half, 2 hours away from Maryland. They hold the biggest import race in the country, Jason Miller's World Cup World Finals. That event is crazy. I haven't got to go in person yet, but I've watched the live feed, and you'll see 20 to 25,000 people crammed into Maryland on a Sunday afternoon. And I'm like,
yeah, we used to sponsor that one a lot, and
it's crazy.
And yeah, they would just, the reports would just say it's just insane.
I had buddies that went up there, and they're like, I mean, yeah, it's cool. Like, people are in the grandstands, they're all jammed up, but they went out and made a huge run and actually set the quarter-mile radio record with Ken Cartuccio's car. And they said the most exciting thing in the whole trip there, they jumped on the golf cart and went down the little chase road right in front of the grandstands. And they said every person was clapping, cheering. He said half of you couldn't tell what they were saying because they were Puerto Rican or from some other nationality. But he said, man, you could see the excitement. That was what really made that event. And I've talked to Jason about it numerous times, and it's very impressive to me as another promoter, as a racetrack operations manager now, to see that many people, and to see that many people on a Sunday. I know we fought that with our NHRA race last year. We fight that every bracket race we have. It's lighter on Sunday than it is on Saturday. There's no question about it. And to see that many people on a Sunday be in a racetrack, and it's just like, man, I miss those days. I can remember the old Super Chevy radio ad, Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. I can remember that was the day you went. Well, now it's like, I'd rather go on Saturday because I got to mow the car.
To get more qualified.
Yeah, I want to see who qualifies. And so, and it's crazy, but I've heard people say that. They're like, I'd rather watch qualifying than I would eliminations, because you get to see everybody, and everybody makes a run, or, your favorite doesn't get decked out first round or whatever, but you get to see them carry on through the day. But I'm still a Sunday championship eliminations guy, but I'm a diehard. I understand. I want to see who wins.
Right.
The casual fan, I think they just want to watch them go down the racetrack.
Yeah. Okay. So we've talked about racetracks. We've talked about all this stuff, and obviously now everybody wants to know the good shit, which would be the show is called Racers and Rental Cars. So I want to know your best rental car story.
Oh gosh, whew, I got a couple of those. Probably my most awkward one was Australia. Got off the plane. The two guys that I was there working for, Scott Harker and Justin Simpson, they were there to pick me up. And we rolled out, and they're like, hey, guy, here, mate, you can drive, through the keys. I'm like, oh, cool. I jump in the driver's seat, which is the passenger seat over there, and was freaked out. And I was just like, whoa, steering wheel's over there. Like, that's not fun. That one was pretty crazy for me, just because I forgot that, hey, it's right-hand drive over there. Man, best rental car story. I can remember being probably 20 or 21 years old. Daniel and I were out racing, and a buddy of ours was out, and he flew in, and he was the guy. He was the fun dude that you never could tell what he was going to do, and rails off and just does this humongous burnout right in front of the racetrack. It was in St. Louis. Chris Blair, I had no part in it. And did this huge burnout right in front of the racetrack. And I guess he forgot the guard shack was at the end before you can pull out onto the highway. And the whole guard rolls out the door, and he said, oh, boy, what am I going to do now? Our buddy rolls down the window and says, man, sorry. I didn't know anybody was out here. And the guy looked out toward the road, looked back toward the racetrack, and he said, that was a good one, son, and told him to go home. I was just like, here we go. We're never going. And the worst part was we're leaving the racetrack. This was on Friday night. Race was on Saturday. We're leaving as number one qualifier in the white Mustang that we were campaigned for so long. And I'm like, great. We're number one qualifier. We're finally doing good in this thing, and you're going to get us in trouble.
You'd been good. You can get back in. No worries.
He was like, man, that was impressive. I'm like, I hope he's not there in the morning.
Tyler, let's talk about a little thing of this epidemic that we're all involved with. What's been some of the most unique brainstorming conversations that you're having to have with sponsors and internally with your executive team on how you guys are going to move forward? NHRA announced the refurbished, optimistic division schedule today.
Tentative being the key word.
Tentative.
Yeah. Last week we had the announcement of the NHRA national event schedule, which I know you and your team were crushed by not being able to have a national event back there after having one last year and doing so well.
Yeah, that sucks. But
so what's been some of the? I know you've had to have some sort of positive come out of this. You got to find glass half full versus glass half empty. But what have you guys been talking about?
Yep. And like you said, it was a big blow to lose the national event. I mean, and it was funny because last year was my very first one, and I'm like, all right, this is my first opportunity to really learn how to do this. Take notes from the people that were good at this, have done this for so many years. And after one, I was like, I left with a phone full of notes, and I'm like, man, this is going to be all right. I mean, now I know what to expect. You may be light at 8:00, but at 9:30, you better be ready to roll or whatever. I was really, really looking forward to it, and to lose the event, I hate it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but I also understand NHRA's side of it. I know there's corporate sponsors involved with certain events. Ours, for some sad reason, doesn't have it. By the way, we're looking for sponsors. If anybody wants to be a national event title sponsor, 2021 we'll be back.
Boom.
But at the same time, I understand their whole deal. Sadly we didn't have a title sponsor for this season, but there were other events that were going to be canceled that had corporate money involved, and I understand that you have to take care of that partner. That money's probably already allocated and already into a budget at one of those racetracks, and I understand that comes first. I completely get it. We all understood here at Virginia. Like I told somebody, they asked me the other day, they were like, hey, how do you go forward with this? I mean, how do you even continue your year from losing the national? I said, that's completely fine. You just add to the notebook and you just make it really badass in 2021. So that way they go, dang, why did we take that race off the schedule? And that's the way we've really taken it. The downtime has actually been kind of crazy. Like I said, we've done our concrete project, got some more teeth on the racetrack to better our weekly events, make those test and tunes where somebody wants a radio prep, makes it killer to where we can go out there and throw a bunch of glue down and let them fly. Be able to do projects like that. We've had a old water trailer that's been in the back for ever since I've been here. So, I mean, it's been at least 2 years. Non-functional, nothing worked, blah, blah, blah. We've had time to get that to the shop, work on that, get that functional. Now that takes away a rented water truck for events to keep the dust down on the dirt road or to water the track. And now we're just taking that and going, all right, look, that's a $1,500 less of a rental payment that you have to make on 3 events or 4 events or however many times. And you spent $150 and 12 hours of manpower to fix this trailer. Now you're good. We've done that with a couple pieces of equipment, cleaned up, really trying to make our facility clean again, updating numerous things that we can update, but also at the same time watching our payroll, making sure the grass is cut, make sure all our bills are paid and everything like that. It's definitely been a hard time. I will be the first one to say this whole thing's completely new for me. But I have to have a thank you moment to Bill Vader. He's reached out to me probably every day since this has happened and has really kind of been a mentor to me, as well as Tommy and Judy, with their businesses. They know the business side of it very well. I've learned more about a business in the last 6 months than I have in 27 years of life that I've had. it's just been insane. But I want to thank Bill Bader for taking the time out of his day. I know he's as busy as anybody, but he usually text me or call me once a day. Just, hey, you need anything? How are you doing? Got any questions? Anything like that? So Bill's been great. Larry Crisp and the Crisp boys at Bandamere have been just the same as well. As far as just checking in with us, making sure there's anything that they could do, any questions that I've had. So for those two guys to do what they've done for me personally has just been a huge help and to battle this and go forward and be better.
Well, I know Bill Bader did an interview. Bobby Bennett put it out today on Competition Plus, and you could feel the emotions in the words. If you've been around Bill Bader for more than 10 minutes, you could hear his voice while you read the words, and you could hear him choking, if you will, to hold back those emotions because of what they're going through. Ohio right now kind of, I don't want to say they're the tip of the spear, but they acted really swiftly in everything across the country with their guidelines and recommendations and so forth. And for them to lose, 2 months worth of racing, the Cavalcade of Stars, the divisional event for them, I mean, that's a lot in that little area because that little town and Summit Motorsports Park, I mean, that town is Bader. It might as well be called Baderville.
I agree 100%. 100%.
He should be the mayor. I mean, I know Bill probably doesn't want to do that, and Evan,
I don't think he wants that to happen.
Yeah. But I mean, so I know it's not easy for anybody that's running anything at all. I mean, take the other businesses in the world that are struggling, but it's motorsports is because it's so unique, and if we're not burning gas, burning rubber, lighting spark plugs off, spraying nitrous because we just want to see the purge cloud come over top of the car, it makes it difficult. We're not making laps. We're not hurting parts. You can't flip burgers, even though we know you're not real good at it. It's difficult all the way around.
Oh, I agree. I talked to Frank Papp from Hoosier Tire today, and he said the same thing. Him and I have been working on some projects together through PDRA and VMP over the last couple of months, and he said the same thing. He's like, man, we're doing as best we can, trying to plan for the future. He said, but we don't want to over mass produce and be stuck with a bunch of tires. But he said, all we're doing is looking back at notes and just making the best guess that we can as far as, if we do start on June the 1st, or if we start whenever we're able to start. Hopefully it's May the 1st. Oh, good Lord, that'd be great. But he said the same thing. He's just like, man, we don't know what to do. We don't want to be undermanned and understaffed and everything whenever everything breaks and we don't have enough tires made. But they also don't want to overstaff either and overproduce and everything like that. So I see it. I mean, and it breaks my heart. I mean, I've grown up in the sport since I was born and been around it forever. And just to see our sport go through what it's going through right now is just very, very tough and something that I never expected to go through. I don't think any of us did. I don't think any of us expected that, hey, this flu that is rough and everything that's going on with this coronavirus deal is going to take over the country and take over the world, as a matter of fact, and put us all sitting here talking on computers and looking at each other. But I mean, we never once guessed that, hey, this is going to shut down racetracks and this is going to put our sport on hold.
Kind of just like flip the switch, just everything. That's what sucks about the whole deal. Like,
we had a 4-day bracket race when it started coming on board, so to speak. When people started, hey, what's this coronavirus thing going on? We had our first points race 7 days later, and it was gone. We couldn't do it. State shut us down, and then it was rough for us because that's usually our best time of the year. I mean, our opening points race last year, we had 270 entries, I think, and 67 of those were junior dragsters. We have a humongous junior crowd here, but it was just, that's the race that you're like, dang, I really want to get that one in before this still starts. Same thing. The week after was a huge grudge race that was a knockout the year before. Same thing. You're sitting there, you're like, I don't want to cancel yet. Maybe people are overreacting. This deal's, maybe it's just going to blow through, that kind of thing. But here we sit today. We haven't opened the gate since the 4-day race of Loose Rocker. So
So let's go to the other side now. Let's put your PDRA hat on.
Door cars. Woo!
That's what I'm talking about. So
Somebody find one for me to drive, and all that way I can have an unbiased opinion, I guess.
Yeah.
There you go.
Tyler, get him a Geo Metro. He'll be good.
4 doors.
That's it. What are you hearing from your PDRA racers? And the reason why I prefaced asking this question is because most of the PDRA racers are small business owners, and they've built small little dynasties in the small towns around the country and whatever career field that they work in with their employees and their families and so forth. And it's small business drives PDRA. So what have you heard back from them in regards into moving forward if and when we do get to go racing?
Yeah, I agree. It's man, it's been tough. Talked to a couple of guys and they're just like, man, we're ready to go racing. We're ready to go racing. And then you go, well, man, how's your business going? Man, I don't know how we're going to keep the door open. But, and in the back of my mind, I'm just like, is that, are you really ready to go racing? Like, the business is most important because the business funds the race car. But at the same time, I think our core group of racers and crews are very dedicated to what we have going on. But at the same time, the longer this goes, the more it's going to affect the small business owner. Luckily, I've got a small business owner that is my boss. Tommy keeps me well in the loop as far as that goes. But I mean, luckily for us, Tommy's business is still able to stay open as an electrical company. But like I look at companies that can't stay open. Maybe it's a racing engine company that's a smaller racing engine company that's not a pro line or somebody like that, but it's just anybody that's a regular old guy that builds engines, and maybe he makes $100,000 a year, but all of a sudden this whole thing starts up and you lose 2-3 months of racing and he loses $40,000 out of his yearly check. Well, he's not going to be able to go pay an entry fee. He's not going to be able to take his kids and run Pro Junior or Top Junior, anything like that. And that's what we've really kept in mind for our stuff. As far as, what do we look at for rescheduling? NMCA and Raleigh Miller put out their rescheduled dates. They did a good job of combining some NMCA and NMRA races that were separated. Now they're combined. That cuts their overhead numbers. Also gives everybody a place to race. For us, we're one series. Their pro media deal split to NMCA and NMRA. PDRA is all as one. So I mean, and we've said that we're like, if we lose more than one race, do we look at a 6-race series? Because if we're all off of work, nobody's getting a check. Is everybody going to be prepared to hit the racetrack in June if we're not able to be on the racetrack in May? That's very hard for us. And at the same time, yes, we want to do an 8-race series. We want to be the top door slammer series in the country. But with this pandemic going on, it's affecting everybody in a different way. It's going to affect a Pro Mod, Pro Boost, Pro Nitrous racer different than it's going to affect a Top Sportsman, Top Dragster race. Even more so, it's going to affect a Bracket Basher or a Top Junior, Top Dragster family, or a Pro Junior, Top Junior family, my bad. I look at that and I think back to my racing program. If my dad was still around and we were still racing when I was 16, 17, 18 years old, and we were going through this, the first thing that would have been parked is a race car. And that's just how we would have had to do it. Not that we would not want to be at the racetrack, but that's not the number one deal. Number one deal would be putting your family first and all of those jobs, paying the bills, making sure the house is paid for, making sure you're able to put gas in the car to go to work when work does start back up, et cetera, et cetera. So we keep that in mind as far as the series goes, because, and this is hard to say, but you mess up and you overschedule, rescheduling, let's say we lose the first 2-3 races because of this deal. Who knows when this is going to end? But if you reschedule too many races and you try to put a race every 3 weeks, a race every 2 weeks, whatever that is, it's just like, Can somebody afford it? No, they can't. All right, let's say somebody goes out and blows a motor up. That engine builder's not going to be able to fix it in 2 to 3 weeks and get you back to the racetrack for the next race. You just cost somebody a championship because you wanted to run 8 races.
I mean, 18 out of 19 weeks a year isn't a good idea.
Yeah, I wasn't say that. No, but we've had to take that into effect as the PDRA side of it, just because we really don't think that people can afford that. We haven't made any strong decisions. I'll be honest with you, we're still full gore. We got a race at Virginia May 7th through the 9th. That was supposed to be our second race of the year. We, of course, lost our Galat race, which we were actually supposed to be there right now. And we were all talking about it with the Galat team yesterday morning or this morning, one or the other. They all run together. This was the best weather ever for the PDRA season opener. Galat
no
weather.
rain.
Oh, yeah, no rain. 71 degrees for the high all 3 days, 48 degrees for the low, all 3 days. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. 2 years ago, the first PDRA race I ever worked at Galat, we rained out on Saturday. We were going to run the finals on Sunday morning. I got up to go dry the racetrack, get ready to go, get ready to scrape and all that. When I left the hotel at 3:30 in the morning, it was snowing. I said, yep, this is not good. But we got that race done and all that. But we looked at it this past couple of days and we're like, is it okay for you to cry? Because I really feel like crying right now. Best weather we could have had for a PDRA season opener, and we don't get to take advantage of it. But like we've all said, there's a greater power on this deal. There's a reason why this is going on. There's a reason why we're not all at the racetrack right now. Like I've told somebody, I said, God's got a plan for us. Our plan for right now is not to be at a racetrack. And there's a reason behind it. I don't know what it is. It's really driving me crazy because I like to figure things out. But I'm hoping that we get to start our season on May 7th through the 9th. If not, we have a lot more questions to answer. And we as a series will do our best to keep our racers in check, in tune, and ready to amped up and go racing.
Well, I know it's not an easy it's just not an easy juggling act that you guys are going through as track operators, as association executives. It's not easy for anybody, whether they're a race team, a sponsor, an owner, whatever the case may be. We've got lucky enough last week, had a NASCAR executive on our show. They're juggling behind the scenes, as you said, trying to move title rights, sponsors, and so forth around and trying to make sense of what is just basically hot jello at the moment. So, well, hey, we brought you on. I told you we were only going to keep you like 15 minutes for the Facebook Live portion, and we were going to shoot the rest of our show, but the text messages just kept rolling in, so we just kept rolling. So the best well-laid plan is the one that you throw out the window, and that's what we've done tonight. So with that,
that's pretty much every episode for us. So
exactly.
I mean,
easy.
Let's go.
I got a plan over here. I even got it on paper. All right, hold on.
Put that in the shredder.
It needed to go there like 10 minutes ago.
Step one.
That's it.
Exactly.
Well, Tyler, we send all of our guests off with 2 questions. First question is, you get to send one Christmas card to one person in motorsports. Who is it?
That's a good one. Probably would have to be Bill Vader. For the things that he's done for me personally, for the things he's done for our sport, for the fans in that area that flock to his racetrack. That's one guy that I watch very, very intently to see what he's doing, because he's done something right. So I would definitely have to say Bill Vader and the Vader family.
All right. Well, that's the first time Bill's made the Christmas card list on our podcast, and he is definitely a good one. There
I
you
want
go.
to be like somebody else, because I don't want to be that guy that like leads the way.
Yeah,
I'm like a follower. I don't know if I'm the guy that's in front.
Well, you're actually like the first track prep guy that we've ever had on. You're the first track
cutting
manager.
edge.
Yeah, first track manager.
It's all over from here.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on. We are experts in dumpster fires. You just get to participate in them.
Yeah. I can't promise you that you're the first guest that would get the next card.
Oh, I know.
Because that all went out the window last week. Because we've gotten it, and so does somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna
cough, Chad.
Yeah, that's it. Cough, Chad. Reynolds. Anyway, here we go. Tyler, you get to send one WTF card to somebody in motorsports. Who's it going to?
Ah, man, that one's tough. You only got to pick.
You only get to pick one, so aim high.
Isn't it crazy that everybody's like, I only get one? Damn it.
Yeah, but then they follow it up with, they're like, I'm
going to go easy.
I'm going to go easy. I don't really hold a grudge against anybody. I'm not that person.
Ah, man, I'm not really like a grudge guy, but
you just asked if you could only have one.
Now my one's going to be pretty good. I'm going to give you this one. So my one would have to be Donald Long. That dude has given me so much hell for like 8 years of my life just because I wanted to put on a race. Like, dang, man, come on. But Donald Long, you get my WTF card. I'm going to tell you.
Oh,
I'm going to ink at the bottom, too.
Oh, my God. Finally, Tyler, I got to tell you, we get I probably, for each person that we get somebody that wants to hear so-and-so on the show, I probably get 2 for Donald.
Oh,
that they want
showman. I'll give him that.
Right. You know,
here's the difference. You have
but maybe now that we're doing this whole live thing, he can wear his like big jacket and his hat, and he'll probably come on now.
I got ratty hair, but some white blinds behind me, and a polo that's probably been worn 47 times. So with Donald, you would have some big glasses, a definite like chain, faked out chain with a clock on it that doesn't spin anymore, a hat that's way too big, and a fur coat that weighs 37 pounds. Like, perfect.
And it's 88 degrees outside.
Some banner behind him as well. I forgot about that.
All I get told all the time, and I personally don't know Donald. We could be standing in line at Zaxby's, wouldn't know who he is, right? At all. But I get told that there's 2 different people. There's Donald Long, and then there's the Duck. And that's what I get told all the time.
100%.
That I shouldn't.
You got to have 2 contacts in the phone.
Is that what it is?
Duck's calling, Donald's calling. Like, which one is it?
Oh.
Hey, I'll say this. For what he's done, man, I'll give him his props as well, but he's definitely going to get my card.
I love it.
That's cool.
Freaking love it. Well, Tyler, as you go out the door, tell everybody where they need to follow, who they need to see to follow Tyler, Crossnoe, and PDRA.
Definitely find us on Facebook, Virginia Motorsports Park, PDRA Racing. Both of those pages are also on Instagram and Twitter for both. RaceVMP.com, our new website. Ainsley Jacobs did a good job. P10 Marketing, bam, put that plug in there real quick. RaceVMP.com for Virginia Motorsports Park's website, and PDRA660.com for the PDRA Racing Series.
Well, there you go. I mean, I couldn't have asked for any better first Facebook Live for our podcast. Tyler, we greatly appreciate you coming on the show. And
yes, sir. Thank you all very much for having me on. Honored to be the first one. Can only go up from here, I can promise you.
Take care, sir.
I mean, I don't know. Don's involved, so it could be pretty touch and
go. Hey, did you notice?
A slow gradual upswing, maybe.
Hold on. You did notice that I got his name right.
Hey,
it only took 74 episodes in order for you to get one of our guest names right.
Look, I got paperwork that explains to you why I get names wrong from time to time, okay? It's like certified. Department of Defense. Yeah, that's it.
Kinda.
Tyler.
I'll start calling you Don Exotic.
Easy.
Oh, wait, you don't know that because you don't watch the Netflix.
I don't watch.
You don't have satellite. Where's JB at? I don't see him in the comments. I'm going to have a chat with him.
Hey, I don't watch the Netflix either. Yeah, you and your 405. Anyway, Tyler, please tell the Franklin family we're thinking about them, and you and your entire staff over there at VMP. No matter how this plays out, I know that you guys will bounce back bigger than ever.
That's right. Thank y'all. Appreciate it. I'll be sure Tommy and Judy know that. Thanks for having us on board, letting us talk about our little playground we have over here in Virginia.
Well,
absolutely. Hopefully I can come play there again one day.
Yes, sir, for sure. Can't wait.
Like you said, you'll be back in 21.
That's right.
I hope I will be.
This show might not.
At this point, I just hope I'll be back in 2020, to be honest. And then we'll talk about 2021.
All right. Take care, Tyler.
endeavors as well. Don, you as well in your door car. Woo, door cars rule.
Boom. I love it. On his way out the door, he dropped it. Door cars rule. See you, Tyler.
Yeah, thank you.
Cam, not a bad way to start off with our first Facebook Live for our podcast. Had a good crowd, had good comments, and Tyler is there's a comment in there that Tyler's got a resume of somebody that's should probably be twice his age. But the kid just flat works. If you get to spend 5 minutes around him and he's not holding a broom on a tractor with a scraper in his hand or trying to talk on one of the 4 radios that he's got, it's he came from a background with his dad. He grew up, like he said, in the South. He threw the Street Outlaw guys on the scene at Memphis for a big event where it snowed and they still had fans showing up. I mean, he doesn't have a whole lot of quit in him, and he always
that's
continues
cool. It
to
just
do
goes
it right.
to show you, man. Just work hard at what you want to do, and you'll succeed. And like I said, he's only 27 years old. That's a good thing for us younger generation drag racers. That Don, nothing about, but that's fine.
What? You're like 35. How are you trying to compare yourself to a 27-year-old?
Also true. My wife did tell me yesterday. She's like, "Holy crap, you're gonna be 35 this year." I'm like, yeah, there is that.
That means you're halfway to 70, dude.
Oof. But I still look like I'm 12, so I guess I can play that.
You're a lie. Tell it however you want to.
Hey, what other 35-year-old can get in for the kids' price, go straight to the beer line and order 2 beers, and you basically get your beer for free because you got in for the kids' price.
Yeah, and who else gets carded everywhere they go to include a McDonald's?
You don't hate me, man.
You look like you're 12. Your wife's not even 4 foot nothing, and you're just over there. You're a hot freaking mess, dude.
What else you got for me, man?
Oh man, I don't know. Dude, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you very much. We will let you know if we're going to continue on with this charade that we're pulling off. But I've enjoyed it. I apologize if there was any technical difficulties, as I am learning how to run video production equipment.
When you get an 86-year-old trying to learn new technology 8 minutes before you start the show, it can be touch and go. So
it's not Holly EFI or Race Pack, so I'm struggling a little bit. Just saying. Well, Cam, why don't you send us out of here?
Well, I guess I could just start off by saying thank you to everybody that actually watched us. I know we get thousands and thousands of listeners that actually download us, but to do it live, it's pretty cool. So hopefully this will catch on and everybody enjoyed it. It seemed to have pretty good interaction. So we thank you for that. And, apologize for our blurred backgrounds or whatever, but we're not fancy. I'm not going to lie. I'm just sitting in my garage. You can see the garage track. Don, he's in, some beautiful motorhome that doesn't have Netflix. We are grateful. So, but we also are very, very grateful for Motion Raceworks, LB Trailers, Streetway Marketing Media, and Voice America, along with Performance Data Systems. And without them, this show wouldn't be possible. It actually takes quite a bit to do this show, to be honest with you, and especially to do it every week. So it's really tough. But we do our best to bring you guys some content. We appreciate you for bearing with us and, Don's technical difficulties along the way. But, hey, man, I tried to run the show, but I killed my MacBook over it. So it's now dead. So that's why he does it all, because I just have this old janky-ass PC. But we appreciate everyone. Hopefully we'll see you all, sounds like next week, in the flesh, but, at a racetrack, hopefully sooner rather than later, because I'm starting to get a little bored and, my wife is about ready to kill me. So, anyway, appreciate it. What else you got, Don? You got anything for him? That's all I got. But, other than you could all go log on to racersandrentalcars.com and buy yourself a hoodie, hat, sweatshirt, something like that. So, maybe Don and I can pay our electric bill between now and then. And what else? Anything else?
I don't have anything, man. I honestly, I don't have anything. It was a great deal. I enjoyed doing this. Was a little nervous about it. Hopefully it'll get better. And as Tyler says, we only got one place to go, and that is up. So we're going to move our dumpster fire up a floor or two. And we will see everybody next week. By all means, please stop by, rate, review, subscribe for our podcast. Send us some messages. Keep the social
if you guys
media
have if you have any questions or comments, concerns, people you want to see on the show, be sure to hit us up at hatemail@racersandrentalcars.com.
And those will all go straight to Cam. See ya!
Later!